Hello, everybody, and welcome to the next installment of Comp and Coffee. I'm Sean Lavana, and it's just me today, but I'm super excited about this because we're starting a new series. We're calling it Aged and Sage. In short, I'm always traveling around connecting with compensation and HR people, and I want to bring their voices forward. So know that if I'm in your town, or even if you hope that I'm coming to your town, hit me up. I'd love to talk to you, love to engage in a conversation about where you think comp and HR is going. I'm at Sean Lavana on Twitter, or you can find me on LinkedIn. But the topic format is this. I'm going to ask just 2 questions. What's something that used to work well in compensation that no longer works? That's the aged part. And then, what's something new that you're doing that is working well? There's your sage part. This is all about just getting people together and exchanging some ideas for the good of the comp community. And so, luckily, I had a test drive of this when I was in Chicago recently. My first guest, who may or may not have known that she was volunteering for this, is Romaine Lewis. Romaine is the director of compensation at Navigant Consulting, and I'll let her take it from here.
Navigant is a professional consulting professional consulting company. So we do business advisory, financial services, energy, and healthcare. I love it. I love the people. To a person, the HR team is supportive, kind, generous with their time, and we partner really well with the finance team. I have been places where that wasn't the case, where it was warring camps between finance and HR, and oh my gosh, does that make for a dysfunctional environment. So I've been 20 years in compensation, working for a variety of different companies, manufacturing, professional services, and warehousing. So it's been a great career for me that I kind of stumbled into by chance. When I graduated from college, the job market was poor. And so I worked as an office temp, working for a variety of different places, kind of secretarial kind of work. And I had an opportunity to work for 2 weeks in the compensation department at Motorola for someone who was on vacation. They liked my work. They kept me. I was there for 5 years. And up until that point, I didn't even know compensation was a function. I didn't know you could do that as a job. It really suits me well because I enjoy the analytics, the numbers, and the people part of it. I don't think I could be in finance because that's primarily concerned with that big number at the bottom of the spreadsheet. For me, I'm concerned with every individual number. The bonuses for every individual person matter to me to make sure that they are calculated correctly. And so I think that separates a compensation person from a finance person.
So you hit on something interesting there that I hear a lot, though, which is people fall into compensation. People that are in compensation fall into it. What was it about it that, you got this effectively 2-week trial?
I did.
That clicked. Is it the people motivation?
I think so. I think it's you have to have the skills. Compensation is primarily analytics, and you need to have good math skills. But mostly the math I'm taking is primarily statistics and probability. It's not complex. I don't need to know calculus for what I'm doing. But I think it's important to be engaged, to be a people person. My team, 3 other guys that I work with, they're all former finance people. So I'm the true HR geek on the team. But again, there's a lot of cross-pollination between finance and HR in the compensation space.
It's interesting you say that because my next question was going to be, do you still feel like most people, when they're leaving college or when they're starting their careers in HR, don't understand compensation or have no clue it even exists as a path?
I find many people, I talk to college students frequently, involved with my alumni association from college. And so they don't know HR much at all, but they've absolutely never heard of compensation. And so the opportunity to do the kind of work we do, I think we're unusual when you compare to other HR people. Other HR people sometimes are not numbers people. And so I think compensation kind of blends those 2 sides very well. And it's hard to find people like generalists who want to come in and do comp. So I think we kind of tend to be in our little bubble, but it's great. I love it.
Does your firm, I've talked with others recently that, they're taking more of an approach where somebody might come and basically do a tour of duty and compensation. They do a couple of years. If they like it, they stay. If they don't, they bounce to somewhere else in HR. Is yours at all like that?
No. Our comp team kind of comes and makes a little home here.
Nice.
So it's been good. I think the comp analysts tend to kind of do their time and move on. Not within the same firm. Our comp analysts just exit and go off do other things. But I think, my colleagues have been in the role a long time. And it's hard to pull people in. It's, if it's coming from finance, certainly is a natural fit. But I think from other areas within HR, I don't think it's as easy to pull people into comp.
Left brain, right brain kind of thing there?
Possibly. And I think there's just a little fear of numbers, just not real comfortable with the numbers. And one of the things we try and do here is training for our HR colleagues to kind of demystify what we do. And I think it's really helpful. And everyone likes to hear about comp, so we have great turnout.
For sure, that's always there. If you make it personal, right? Well, wait, how do I get paid, and how do you calculate that?
Exactly. What's my bonus? How does that work?
Yeah, that has meaning.
It does. Absolutely resonates.
So, wanted to ask you two key questions today, and we're kind of hinting around a little bit, which is, you've been in this for a while now. I'm curious, what's your take on something? How's comp evolving? What's something that used to work well that doesn't work anymore? Let's start with that one.
So, I think traditional surveys. How we work with that data, how we send it to the survey house, how we get it back, how we use it once we have it. So I've been in this career long enough that I remember survey binders. So they would actually send you a book, you turn the pages, you would type into a spreadsheet. You may do a regression calculation with your calculator to come up with a salary range. Yeah, nobody does that anymore.
Right.
So in some ways it's much more efficient now. I don't think I could do what I do if I didn't have Excel, if I didn't have that powerful engine behind to help me analyze a large set of data, that it would be impossible. I don't know how comp was a function 25 years ago. Like, how did you even do it without these tools? I don't even know, and probably don't want to know because it sounds terrible. The opportunity, one of the things we're looking for are ways to make our survey submissions easier. That's a very painful process. We participate in 30 surveys, and it's just incredibly time consuming to get that data together, and we participate in multiple surveys for the same employee set. So if we could find a way to say, this is our employee data, and we're going to give it to company A, B, and C, and they will run with it, give it back to us in some format that we can use, in a technological platform that allows us to pull all this data together from various sources and make it work. The surveys we participate in are smaller, maybe 30, 40 firms, and so they're not as interested in providing that kind of simplification. They're closed surveys, it's kind of clubby if you want to ask me, but so this idea, well, I'm not going to take your survey data that you formatted for company B because we're C and we're different, and it's important for you to do what I want you to do rather than what you want to do. So it's challenging. We are thrilled with the opportunity to do something easier and better. I mean, who wouldn't want to do it that way if you could do it easier and better?
Just got to get everybody to agree to it.
Yes, you got to get people on board, and I think it's one of those things, if you try it, you'll like it.
Sure.
And so it's just kind of getting over that initial hump of change, and that change management process can be lengthy for some organizations. You have the old guard who is very much, this is how we do things, please stay within your lane. And it's like, no, there are other opportunities. There are other places we can get data.
Right.
And so if you're making this exceptionally difficult for me, I'm not going to play because it costs a lot of money to do these surveys. And if it's hard for me, hard for my team, then that doesn't even make any sense. Why would we do that? So we're always looking for new survey data points. In order to make sure that we have the most robust surveys and that we're getting the bang for our buck. So
we might be already starting to tease some of it out, but the follow-up question to that is, what's something new that you're doing now that's working out well?
We're using our new technology vendor to help us with the survey management. We also have changed how we purchase surveys. So we're not purchasing as frequently as we used to, but just a better way to manage our budget. So we invest a lot in our surveys. So that's a hard nut to crack year over year. Some of the things can't change. We have contracts in certain areas, and you can't tell your executive comp consultant to go pound sand, right? Your board wouldn't be real happy with that decision. So there's always costs that you're going to have no matter what you do from a survey perspective. But I think, technology is key. That's really going to help us take that leap into the next iteration of comp, and it's going to be more robust. I honestly see a period in time where we won't do surveys at all.
All right, two other quick questions. Tell me about Onward and Upward.
Onward and Upward, okay. So this is a longer conversation. So I first started in this organization, and one thing to understand about Navigant is it's complex. We say complexity is a core competency. It's just like how we like to do things. And so we had two businesses who had very similar titles, led by different people, doing different work, but I was so new, I didn't really understand. And so I sent file B to leader A, and that was a problem. And I was shaking practically. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did this. And my boss just looked at me and she said, okay, we're just going to move forward with this, and we're going to go onward and upward.
What else can you do at that point?
I know. Well, she could have yelled at me. There are other things.
Still doesn't solve the problem, though.
No, but she just...
It's a good way to handle it.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, and it's something that has resonated with me now 8 years later.
How do you continue to hire for those traits that keep it a good culture is basically what we're talking about.
So you do a lot of interviewing, right? And you just ask a lot of questions. We have a way of interviewing here. It's a marathon. So my boss, who's the director of global compensation here, interviewed probably with 12 different people. Now, all of them were not face-to-face, some Skype because he was in another city, but all of these people gave input. And this also allowed him to have relationships begun in a very small way with a variety of our leaders. And so it's a tough experience. Hiring our senior comp analyst, we only had him probably interview with 4 or 5 people. But it's the same thing that, you're hiring for the skills and you're hiring for the attitude. And the attitude is the most important part.
Sure.
Because you can teach the skills.
Sure.
And, comp is mystifying, but it's really not that hard. When you break it down, it's really not that hard. But you can't teach someone to be nice. You can't teach someone to be a team player. All those things that person's got to already bring to the table. So that's how we hire.
No, it's good to know. I appreciate it. It sounds like a great company. Appreciate your time today.
Well, thank you so much. It's been my pleasure.